We are live in 3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Personal Transformation Experience podcast. Today we are going to talk about the concept of reinventing yourself and what holds people back from being the best version of themselves. I know this is very personal for you. Why did you choose this topic for this week?
So I chose this topic because I feel it's really important. Like, I have done a lot to change over time and change my perspective, and always constantly learning new skills and striving to be better. But I think this is more about kind of reinventing yourself. If you feel like you're stagnant or you're in a rut and you don't feel like you're happy, and you just can't put your finger on why. Like, life is you're not excited about anything. And that can happen a lot. I guess they call that the middle-age crisis or
Could
something
be.
like that.
But are you saying there's a difference between being better or getting better and reinventing yourself?
Not really. I think it's, the more I thought about it when I was reading about some articles and looking into it, I feel like it's kind of the same thing. It's just another play on words. So reinventing yourself is evolving because it involves learning a new skill, finding something that excites you. And you're not looking to reinvent yourself in your 20s or 30s because, you're pretty young still.
And a lot of people in their 20s don't think that they need to reinvent themselves.
Right.
They just feel like they're at their peak game.
They're at their peak. Yeah. You usually are at your peak game. Like, you're at your best self. Whatever you're doing at that point, typically you've gotten your education, you're in a career, and you're enjoying it, hopefully, and you're at the top of your game. But a lot of people, especially people who have families, they tend to be at the top of their game later in life, 40s, 50s.
Well, I think two things about what you're saying. Being at the top of your game is subjective.
Yes.
That's going to mean something different for everybody else. And to me, I feel, and maybe it's just because of the life I lived when I was younger, being at the top of my game means taking everything I've learned, but some of it the hard way.
Yeah.
To reinvent myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think because the more, obviously, as you hit your 30s and then your 40s, for me, life was difficult in my 20s and 30s, and I didn't have a great career. I mean, I shouldn't say I didn't have a great career. I had a good job. I wasn't in love with what I was doing. I was doing what I had to do so that I could do what I wanted to do. And so I didn't really peak at that age. I'm kind of a delayed peaker, if you will. But I feel like every year, every decade has been better and better. So that's what I mean. Like, sometimes you could be in at the top of your career and be like, well, I don't really want to be here. I'm sick of this, or this is not something I want to be doing. And so reinventing yourself just means kind of reflecting about how you feel, about who you are, and thinking about a time in your life when you were so excited about what you were doing that you felt super fulfilled and you couldn't wait to wake up the next day to do it again or to keep doing what you want to do. And when I thought about that, because I am going down a different path right now, I thought I loved being a personal trainer. I loved working with people. I loved making people feel good about themselves. And I love working with the neurodiverse community as a coach also, but I really love working from a physical standpoint and helping people's physical bodies be better, because it affects their mental health and
100%.
Their cognitive bodies, the whole body.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things I realized, and I did this myself, self-reflection is where you begin. And then you decide what it is that really excites you and what you need to know now to get where you want to be, and have a vision for yourself. I had a vision for myself. I created a vision board again.
Yeah.
For my
I don't know how many
life.
people know how to create a vision. We talk about it a lot at work. But
That's
a vision
super
is
important.
really being able to see the end goal, the end result.
Yeah. So
to be able to see where you're going, right?
Yeah.
If somebody says, we're going to California, I've never been to California before, never seen a picture of California, how am I going to know what that looks like?
Exactly. Why would you want to go to California if you don't know what it looks like, right? So
Right, yeah.
but if you have an idea, a vision for yourself of what you see yourself doing and where you want to go, what you want to end up doing, then you can easily create goals to get there, create a plan to get there, which you break down in SMART goals. We talked about that in a different episode, but yeah, you have a plan. But if you have that vision in your head and you wake up every day and you imagine yourself doing what you love and feeling like you're already doing it, you will automatically, right, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. That's right. So you will automatically do things throughout your day to get closer to your goal. So like now I'm going to be working in a clinic with kids on the spectrum, and I'm really excited to do that.
Yeah, I'm excited for you too.
Yeah, and get a certification, and I'm also getting my personal training certification. So I'm learning, and I think what excites me most is learning a new skill, learning something new that I can then bring to people and sort of spread, share my gift
Right,
with everybody.
right.
It's something I know I can share and help others. And that makes me feel amazing. Like I feel most alive
Yeah.
when I'm doing that. So I'm excited about that. And I think that's the crux of reinventing yourself. But as I was reading some more, and this has a lot to do with having the confidence and getting rid of negative beliefs, negative thoughts, negative beliefs, negative emotions about who you are, what you deserve, and what you can do, what you have the capacity to do, and that you deserve to have that. So, and I found this definition of self-esteem that I thought was really interesting by Nathaniel Branden, who writes the book 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. Really good. I haven't read it, but I'm going to get it. He says self-esteem is the disposition to experience oneself as being competent to cope with basic changes, life changes, and a feeling of being worthy of happiness and success. So the experience that success, achievement, fulfillment, and happiness are right and natural for us.
And not everybody feels worthy of success or happiness.
Well,
I know the messages I got as a child were to be put myself as a number 2 or on a shelf behind God or behind my parents or behind other adults, right? So I wasn't to show off or show up even.
Right.
Right. I don't want to act too big for my britches or anything like that. So it led me to believe in a lot of adult real world situations that everybody was better than me. And I just better take a back seat.
Yeah. I was always one to hide in the shadows and not want to be in the limelight and not be in the spotlight and not be seen, not be heard. Right. That's what I was told when I was younger.
I'm sure if you're of a certain age, you probably heard children should be seen and not heard.
That's what I heard in my whole childhood. So that I took that with me in my life. And I think that did matter. That does matter. And when you get rid of those negative beliefs and you push them aside and you push forward with some courage, it takes courage, and the thing that's great about getting past that negative belief and saying, you know what, I'm going to make this change in my life. You're working on neuroplasticity. You're working on cognitive flexibility and your adaptability. So, and I've said this over and over again, it's not the strongest that will survive. It's the most adaptable. If you're adaptable, any species they're going to survive, and they're going to not just survive, they're going to thrive. So that is crucial. And I think once you can find the courage and take that first step in faith, right, which is what Dr. Martin Luther King says, you can find yourself taking one more step and just do one step at a time. Yeah. And be patient with yourself and know that change is, change takes time. Right. Change takes time. And if you're going to make these changes, there's always a learning curve, and you might be like, get up one morning and think to yourself, I can't do this today. I can't, I give up. Well, take a deep breath. You're allowed to feel that way. These are your emotions. They're valid. Right. But know that, think about what you want. Think about your whole life is ahead of you, right? You have all these things you want to do, and just do one thing. Take 5 minutes, meditate, close your eyes, think about your future, think about where your goals are, and get your vision. Look at your vision board. I look at my vision board every day. Every day. It's right next to my bed. And that's what keeps me moving forward. It makes me excited. And, friends, and get a good support system, people who care about you and will support you in
Yeah, I
your
didn't know what a
journey.
vision board was before I met you. I'd never heard of the concept.
Yeah. I have, I've been working with this really wonderful woman I met at a networking event. Her name is Lou Tandazzo. Tandazzo. She has a website, Dream into Success Now. She's a coach, a success coach and a confident coach. And I just finished a 10-day confidence challenge. A lot of fun.
Nice.
And so she's amazing. And I'm going to plug her right now because she's really awesome. And she does a lot of free stuff. And she has a business, obviously, but she will collaborate. She's just a wonderful, wonderful person. And I loved meeting her, and I love working with her.
Yeah.
And that's Lou Divine Tandazzo, Dream into Success Now. She's amazing.
All right.
And also The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem by Nathaniel Brandon, which I am going to pick up.
Yeah,
sure.
I'd like to read that too.
Yeah. So I think the crux of really what we're talking about is continuing to evolve and grow in your life. Because if you're not evolving or growing, you're not living, and it builds resilience.
But as you were talking, I feel like everybody develops and grows in different stages. If I think about the tall trees that we planted in our backyard, they're all growing at different rates. Some are taller than others right now.
Yes.
And some of it is the DNA of the tree, and some of it is where in the yard they are planted, whether they get a certain amount of sunlight or water, right? So it is part environment. It's part what is inside of us. But we are not trees, right? We are not fixed and planted in the ground. We don't have to stay where we've been planted.
Yes.
We can move ourselves to a better environment.
Yeah, 100%. I love that analogy because it makes a lot of sense. We are not trees. And you can see that the trees all grow at different rates. And that is how people work. Everybody's different. Everybody has their own.
And they have truly no control of their environment. They can't get up and move to a different spot in the yard.
No, the trees are going to get the sun that they get based on where they are in the yard.
Yeah.
And even the rain. If they're under a tree, they're going to get less rain.
So while we may have this genetic blueprint inside of us, the beauty is that we can change your environment. And part of changing your environment even is creating that vision board.
Yes.
Right? Or it's choosing who your friends are, or choosing what relationships you're going to be in, or choosing where you're going to work, right?
Yeah.
And realizing that you're not stuck. And yes, I've been in tough situations financially, but even then, that's when you have to say, I am not stuck in this relationship. I am not stuck in this job. I have choice. And those choices can be hard and difficult. And the transitions can be hard and difficult.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you're not imprisoned like that tree. You're not You're not stuck in that one spot in the yard.
That's right. No, change is hard, and it is scary to embrace change because you don't know what's on the other side. You have an idea of what you want to do, but what you're doing now, you're familiar with. You may not like it, but it's comfortable. So this is all about really stepping out of your comfort zone, and stepping into an area where you may not be so comfortable. Like I stepped way out of my comfort zone going to these networking events. I was not comfortable, and I'm not sure I am now, but I'm enjoying them more and more, and I'm meeting such great people that little bit of this is so exciting.
Well, I'm proud of you. I don't know if that's something you would have done 10 years ago.
No, I wouldn't have. I just am not. And now I'm even considering like I'm going to be meeting with a woman I met that's director of admissions at a private school in Charlotte. And I have a suspicion she's going to ask me to do a presentation on my business at her school because that's the demographic I work with. And so when I first thought about it, I was like, oh my God, like panic set in for just a second though.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I got this. I can do it. I'm going to do it. And that's it. So, because if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. And I need to do it. And even if I pass out, so they take me to the emergency room, whatever. The worst that can happen is I have a panic attack and I pass out.
Right.
I'm not going to die.
Right.
It is what it is. And it's going to take a lot of courage, but it takes a lot of courage just thinking about it.
Yes.
Because it's something scary for me.
Right.
That I've never really done before.
Well, I'm very proud of you for pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. I've often heard it said you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, but I don't. That's the whole point. You're not going to be comfortable. It's going to be hard.
It's going to be hard.
To say that I have to be okay with this, I don't know what that means, because sometimes you just got to do it anyway. I'm not okay with this, and this is hard. Yeah. It is hard to. Like in my past, standing up for myself, advocating for myself, advocating for my ideas, right? Those things come easier today. I think back to when I was a kid, I was deathly afraid of going in water that was over my head. I just would not do it. And this is to the point where I was 11 or 12, and peers had been jumping in water over their heads since they were 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
So now I was getting made fun of, right? Because so one day I just went to the diving board at a friend's house. I must have been 12, and the water must have been 8 or 10 feet deep below me. And I just went off the diving board, and I never looked back. But I was scared. I was very scared jumping off the diving board. And sometimes it's like that. Then you have to insert yourself into a conversation or assert yourself. Assert yourself.
Yeah.
With people that are strong personalities. I don't like to use the word bullies. Some people just have strong personalities, and you have to assert yourself. And then you realize, oh, okay, I was able to do that and nothing bad happened. Actually, good things happened. Or maybe somebody gave me more responsibility at work because I was more assertive, or maybe I made more income at my job because I was more assertive. So then you get the rewards, right? Just like going in the water, I'm like, I can swim across the pool now with my friends. And so there's a reward from that, and you get dopamine and all that great stuff. So sometimes often in life, you have to do hard things. But for us, given that we were told, stay in the corner, stay silent, stay fearful, really.
Right.
We were taught to be afraid of
Don't take any risks.
Parents.
Right.
So it was counterintuitive to say, I'm going to take a risk here. Right. So because there's two pieces, the self-esteem, how you feel about yourself, and then how you feel about taking risk. And you have to put your self-esteem on the line sometimes to take that risk.
Yeah. And if you fail, you fail. But you know what? You did it.
You fail forward.
You fail forward. Yeah. Because failure is the path to success. You don't succeed until you fail.
Right.
You have to actually fail first.
It's okay.
It's okay. And
it's okay to fail.
So failure's not a bad word. I used to, when I worked in the classrooms, I want to see mistakes. I want to see, the more mistakes I see, the better I'll feel. That means you're learning. If you don't make a mistake, I'm not teaching you well. And that's how I always felt. So if you don't make a mistake in life, you're not living.
Right.
Right. You have to actually make the mistake so you can learn from what you did and then improve.
Yep.
And evolve and do what you need to do. Whoops.
So anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
No, I just thought that this was a really good subject to talk about because I just finished the 10-day confidence.
Yeah. Well, I love it.
So I'm going to continue to, I'll be uncomfortable creating this presentation. I've never done that before. That's not true. I did do it one time and I thought it was a one-time fluke, but it wasn't. It wasn't a one-time fluke. It was something that I worked very hard to do. I practiced. I had support of my supervisor at the time, and I was a huge success. And I can do it again.
You can definitely do it.
I can definitely do it again. So you can do anything you put your mind to.
We're going to wrap up, and I'm going to get on a plane, and I will be at a conference in California for the next 5 days, and with about 1,000 other people, and there will be times where I'll be speaking in front of several hundred people at times. So I've got to get my head in the game for all of that.
Yeah, that's not something I'd want to do for 4 days. I'd be burnt out by the second day.
Yeah, it definitely saved my energy. So thank you for watching. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Feel free to comment. And if there's something else you'd like to see, please let us know that too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Bye.